Tired of your favorite shows ending and wishing there were 900 more seasons of Game of Thrones? AI flicks. Want House of a Thousand Corpses to be a family-friendly comedy? AI flicks. Want the Xenomorph as Alf in your own version of Alien? AI flicks. Maybe add some action to Friends and give Monica and Rachel's relationship a fresh twist? AI flicks. Or better yet, just create your own movie with enough action, nudity, magic, and Jason Statham. Just subscribe to AI Flicks and watch what you truly love.
This is Brain in Jar or Brain Ninja channel. Right now, text-to-video has crossed a clear line. The newest systems can keep a character consistent across multiple shots, hold framing you describe in plain language, and keep motion believable for more than a few seconds. Faces stay aligned when you cut from a wide to a medium. Mouths match the line you give them. Basic physics tracks closely enough that you can stage action without it falling apart. You can also iterate quickly. If a take is off, you keep the prompt, lock the parts that worked, and regenerate the rest until it fits. That is why short scenes, teasers, and minute-long pieces already feel usable. Where it still struggles is extended structure. When you push past a few minutes, character intent drifts, props and lighting slip across acts, and audio polish still needs a human in the loop. The headline is simple. Convincing minutes are here, consistent hours still need scaffolding. A full movie from a single sentence is not how this evolves. The realistic path is a writer-director console where you describe beats, arcs, and constraints, and the model renders scenes to match your timeline. You will have scene cards, character bibles, and style locks that carry across the project. You will tell it which performances are final and which are placeholders. You will swap locations without rebuilding sets from scratch. You will test 2 or 3 alternate versions of a conversation and keep the one that lands. Coverage becomes cheap. Background extras, weather continuity, and utility shots become automated. The human job is intent, pacing, performance direction, and final taste. Expect the first credible prompt-first series to be short episodes with recurring characters, steady look, and reliable continuity, not a 2-hour feature pushed out in one pass. On adult content, the technology can imitate bodies, lighting, and motion with a level many people would call realistic, but mainstream tools block it by policy. Platforms filter at the prompt and frame level, require consent for likeness and voice, and attach provenance data. Hosting and payment systems follow the same line, so anything that ignores consent or safety gets taken down quickly. Private tools will keep trying to push against that, but public reach depends on compliance. That is what shapes what gets made and where it shows up. If you want distribution at scale, you work inside consent and provenance. If you do not, you end up in small, closed channels with limited reach and constant risk. People also ask about an AI version of shock sites. Technically, models can render violent scenes. Practically, public distribution is a dead end. Laws in major markets restrict extreme violent media, platforms detect and remove it, and provenance signals make tracing easier. Hosts and payment processors do not want the liability. Even if someone generates it, it does not survive in public spaces, and it brings legal and social blowback. The bottom line is clear. Mainstream systems refuse it, and the cost of trying keeps rising. That does not stop private experiments, but it keeps them outside the main feeds and outside normal monetization. Dream recording gets a lot of hype, so here is the grounded version. Labs can reconstruct rough visuals from brain scans in controlled settings. The images are low resolution, the hardware is expensive, and the process requires trained protocols. That belongs in research, not in a home product. A device that turns last night's dream into a clean video for sharing is not on a short timeline. You will see more research demos, but daily use on a phone or headset is still far away. If you hear a promise that consumer dream to video is right around the corner, treat it as marketing, not as a plan. Copyright and credit are adjusting to this reality. Purely machine-made work without meaningful human authorship struggles to claim protection in several places. Human selection, editing, and rewriting matter because those are recognized as creative decisions. Training data provenance is moving from a forum argument to a contract requirement. Big models face disclosure rules and pressure to license. Expect opt-out and opt-in systems for datasets, audit trails for generated media, and deals that pay when a brand, a script, or a face is licensed on purpose. For independent creators, the safest approach is to document inputs, keep logs of prompts and edits, and treat the model as part of an authored process. That protects your claims and lowers risk when a platform asks how a piece was made. Actors are central in this shift. Likeness licensing is becoming routine. Performers will sign agreements that define what a digital double can do, for how long, and where. Doubles can handle pickups, localization, background presence, and some stunts. Live work will anchor pivotal scenes and promotion. Casting also changes. You can prototype with a stand-in avatar, test reads, lock a direction, and then bring the actor in for capture, approvals, and final lines. New roles appear around this flow. Consent managers track who allowed what. Avatar performance directors coach digital doubles to stay consistent with a role. Auditors verify that productions used approved assets and honored limits. None of this removes actors. It gives them more levers to license, protect, and monetize their work. Computer graphics work shifts up the stack. Pre-visualization, layout, roto, and cleanup get faster. Artists spend less time on repetition and more time on look development, style direction, character rules, and tool creation. Generalists who understand pipelines and have taste will do well because they can move from prompt design to compositing without losing the thread. Specialists remain important for hero shots, complex simulations, exact brand looks, and anything that must match a franchise standard. Education adapts too. Teams learn model-aware workflows, control layers, dataset hygiene, and provenance management because those skills reduce surprises and speed up delivery. Hollywood does not vanish, it reorganizes. Pre-production accelerates because you can see a rough pass of the story the same week you outline it. Reshoots become targeted regenerations that keep continuity. Test screenings can include alternate cuts rendered in days instead of months. Big franchises hold their position because distribution, marketing, and intellectual property still decide what fills theaters and homepages. Independents gain because the entry cost falls. A small team can now deliver work that used to require a large crew. The market fills with more content, so reputation and consistency start to matter more than ever. Unions push for enforceable rules on digital replicas, consent, and fair pay for reuse. Studios respond with internal policies on dataset sourcing, likeness rights, and provenance labels because that protects releases and helps with audience trust. Money follows attention and rights, but the mix changes. Creators still earn through platform revenue shares, sponsorships, memberships, and direct sales. Input costs drop, which improves margins for small teams. If you license a face or a voice, that is an expense and often a revenue share, and you budget for it. If you build original digital actors, you create assets you can reuse across multiple projects and languages. Toolmakers earn from hosted compute, pro features, and enterprise compliance packages. Service studios earn from pipeline setup, prompt direction, style bibles, character packs, localization passes, and provenance audits. Curators, reviewers, and newsletter writers gain importance because viewers need help finding quality in a larger pool. Brands pay for custom avatars, localized campaigns, and long-tail adaptations. Education becomes a steady business because teams want training on legal, creative, and technical basics of this stack. Personal, offline generation is part of that economy. With strong hardware, you can already generate short clips locally, turn stills into motion, apply a consistent look, upscale, and interpolate to smooth motion. You can do that without sending source assets to a server, which helps with privacy and early experiments. The limits are clear. Sustained realism over minutes and scenes still consumes a lot of memory and time. So many teams use a hybrid approach. They iterate locally for control and speed, then render the final pass with more compute. When you share the result, you still inherit platform rules. Provenance marks, consent checks, and dataset questions come back into the picture once the work goes public. If you plan a prompt-first series, the practical pattern looks like this. You write a season outline, you define character rules so the model does not drift. You generate scene drafts, review performances, and lock takes that carry emotion. You standardize lighting and grades so episodes look like one world. You use real voices when it matters and synthetic reads when it does not. You license music or commission stems that you can clear anywhere. You keep a clear audit trail so platforms and partners can verify what you used. That is not theory. Teams are already building around this flow for short runs. It lowers cost and raises iteration speed, but it still depends on taste and discipline. The fear that everything turns into the same glossy template is valid. The way out is simple but not automatic. You make decisions about framing, silence, and pacing that a default pass will not give you. You remove shots that do not serve the beat. You treat the model as a collaborator that needs direction, not as a vending machine. When you do that, you get work that feels specific instead of generic. Audiences pick up on that. They reward clarity and restraint, even in a crowded feed. For actors, a clear strategy helps. License what you want used, protect what must remain personal, build a direct link with your audience so your name carries weight across formats. For artists and technical directors, cross-training pays off. If you can move from concept to prompt to comp without losing quality, you are valuable in a small team. For studios, the durable moat is not only compute. It is a pipeline that lets teams take creative risks without blowing schedules, plus a culture that treats consent and provenance as part of delivery, not as paperwork. The next couple of years look straightforward. Short and mid-length AI-assisted videos with stable characters and repeatable style become routine. Prompt-first series arrive with human story leads and model-heavy pipelines. Adult content stays gated by consent and platform policy. Shock content stays outside public distribution. Dream-to-video stays in labs. Copyright rules keep moving toward transparency and licensed likeness. Acting and computer graphics work move toward higher-level control and supervision. Hollywood runs faster and leans on provenance to maintain trust. Independent teams earn through the same channels as before with lower costs and add new income from licensed assets, custom models, and services built on top of the workflow. If you are building in this space, the path is clear. Learn the tools, document your process, respect consent, and keep the human parts that make work worth watching. The tools will keep improving. Your judgment will be the difference between something that is watchable and something people return to.